Welcome again. Like I say, I decided to tackle and answer some questions, technical questions on the PT Cruiser. And I stated if you have any questions, leave on my Facebook page. And on my long 10-hour drive, I will try to answer as many as possible. All right, I got this question from Doug O'Hearn. He have a 2003 PT Cruiser with 75,000 miles. Whoa. That ain't hardly no miles. How you pull that off, dude? You know what I'm saying? Been nowhere. Especially if that's original miles. So I'm assuming it's original miles. Doug O'Hearn, 2003 PT Cruiser, 75,000 miles. The problem he said he having is the flickering of the headlights when I haven't started the car in days. Never dead battery. Battery is 14 years old. All right, flickering headlights. Flickering headlights. Yeah. So I'm assuming you're talking about you turn your lights on, your headlights just flickering on and off, on and off, on and off. That, my friend, most commonly is a battery connection problem. Now, you stated here that the battery is not dead, never dead battery, and battery is 14 years old. A 14-year-old battery, if it passed the load test, is still good. I'm not a big fan of just replacing the battery just because it's an old battery. I mean, I don't have money like that, so I hope y'all are not out wasting money. This battery 5 years old, it's time to replace it. No, if you're still holding the charge and the cells are still good in it, I'm gonna do a whole video on battery, man. A lot of people replacing batteries prematurely a lot, you know, because they basing it off a lifetime span. Sure, everything has a time span to its life, but a battery can go as long as, you know, the cells stay charged and the cells are not dead. All right, I'm getting off track. Your lights are flickering. Buddy, this is a 2003. That means your battery cables is attached to your battery harness. Now, from 2006 on up, the battery cables are replaceable. They separate from the battery harness, meaning you can replace just the battery cables only. From 2006 and up, you can go to dealership and get them. Don't get the cheap stuff at AutoZone because they don't connect right. I've seen too many electrical issues though. From 2006 on up, you can replace your battery terminal. From 2005 down to 01, it's attached to your battery harness. Now, if those has been cut and new harness or new connector spliced in, it's very hard to get a good connection that way. I'm sorry. I've seen it. I've tried it myself. I don't care how much insulation you cut away and tighten that down. You're still going to have some loss in amperage through that connection. So with that being said, like I say, I'm just going out on a limb and think you got bad connections at your battery. If you're correct in stating that your battery is not dead. Now, I don't know if you're assuming your battery is not dead or not, but what you can easily do is take it to Advanced Auto, AutoZone, any of those places that have a load tester. They can put your battery on a load tester and they're gonna test it based off cold cranking amps. This PT Cruiser normally a 550 cold cranking amp battery. So run the test. If it passed, it's a good battery. I mean, we got a test at the dealership we use called the GR8. And it does a real good test on that battery, deep cell. It deep cell charge it and then test it to make sure it holds its load. That way we know we got a good battery. Now, I'm gonna assume you already done that. I'm gonna assume you know for sure, 100% sure your battery is good. If that's the case, you're losing resistance somewhere. And you know, headlights pull a lot of resistance from your electrical system. So, buddy, let's check your battery connection at your battery, your positive and your negative. We got to make sure those are clean and tight. And if it's not the original, this is a 03, if it's not the original clamps, I would get a complete battery harness. Those are very easy to do. It attaches to your battery, goes to your fuse box and down to your starter. The starter is right there, so it's not that difficult. But that'll give you peace of mind knowing the connection between your battery and your electrical system is good. Because, like I say, adding battery connection terminals to an already existing battery harness is you're not going to get the proper connection you need to make sure your electrical device function accordingly. You might be losing charging volts. That's another thing. The charging, get that tested too. All this stuff, AutoZone and Advanced Auto, they test all these things. So I would take my car, if you're trying to save money, if you go to the dealership, they're going to run a full electrical diagnosis. That's fine and dandy. That way they can pinpoint and tell you what's going on. But if you're charging and your battery tests fine, we need to look at connection. Now, charging is pretty simple too. It's not as simple as most people think. They think you just hook up a battery voltage tester, and if you're getting between 13.6 and 14 voltage, your charging system is doing its job. That's not always the case, but you got a pretty good charging system if you're pushing out 13 volts. The charging system doing its job. But like I said, it could be going out intermittently, but I don't want to get that deep off into it. So I'm gonna assume you got some loose battery connection. If I'm wrong, buddy, comment below and we can keep going till we get to the bottom of this. Now, the headlight switch is attached to your multifunction switch. Those things go out all the time, especially if you got fog lights or whatever. You ever had a car, PT Cruiser, fog lights just stay on forever, just never cut off no matter what you do to the switch? Yeah, the multifunction switch go bad all the time. Now the circuit runs through that switch, so if your battery, let's go backwards. If your battery is good, tested good, and your charging system tested good, and you got good connection at your battery, let's go on inside the car. Take a look at this switch. There's nothing you can visually do to a switch to tell if it's good or bad. And you're saying your car got 75,000 miles on it. That's not really a lifespan to an electrical switch. When it opens and short out and goes out, it just does it when it feel like it. Brand new car switches go out. So we're not gonna put a lifespan time to an electrical switch. But like I say, if everything good outside, your charging, battery, and your connection, chances are you got a bad multifunction switch, because the circuit runs through that switch and it sends your voltage out to your headlights, to your fuses and your headlights. So let's get that checked, and if all that's failed, you're gonna wind up needing a multifunction switch. So I hope this helped, man. I'm not sure, because like I say, I try to put in that to give me as much information as possible. I can go from there, but you know, people still leave out needed information for me to accurately answer your question. And without me being there, it's hard for me to answer it anyway. So I'm basing it off my 20-something years experience working on Chrysler product. The PT Cruiser came out in 01, but again, you know, I've been through that loop, so I've seen everything on the PT Cruiser. But I'm basing it off the way you ask the question and the knowledge I have on the car. So let's get that checked, man. And either rate, I mean, I don't know where side of town you're at. We got junkyards here, salvage yard we call pull apart. I'm sure they'll sell your multifunction switch $20 maybe. So if nothing else, you know, you get to save some money and do it that way. But if all else fail, get your switch and test it that way. But let's get that battery connection. Make sure the easy stuff out the way. Make sure you got a good battery connection, your charging system charging, and there's a ground, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little bitty small ground wire coming off that battery harness that's attached to the frame of the car. Don't leave that out. Check that. If all that's failed, take the screw off of that, scratch surface the connection point that wire is connected to, and put the bolt back in and tighten it up. That'll get you a good, nice, clean connection. That may stop your flickering. But again, I hope that answers your question, man. If not, leave a comment, man. I want to know what you got going on, what you do to, or what you found, or I'm telling you based off my experience and what I know. I could be wrong, because again, I'm basing it off the way you asked the question. I hope that helped, man. Again, comment and subscribe to my channel. I need comments, I need likes, share it, whatever you gotta do. That's the only way I can keep pushing out videos. Like I say, starting next month, I'm gonna start tackling the Chrysler minivan. I know everything about the minivan. The Dodge Charger, Chrysler 300, the Dodge Magnum, Chrysler Sebring, all the Chrysler Dodge Jeep product I know everything about. You got a question, answer it below, ask it below, If it's not too technical, I'm gonna try to answer it in the form of a video. If it's too technical, I'm gonna direct you to my PayPal account where I'm gonna ask you to donate between $10 and $20 depending on the difficulty of the question and if I gotta track down information to answer your question. Because, you know, I don't try to memorize everything. You can't. So, but I have access to everything I need to know. So if your question will require me to dig up information, I'm gonna just simply ask you to donate between $10 and $20 and I can come up with the information and we can get it tackled. That's not asking too much. We want to keep this PT Cruiser running forever, man. So at least, you know, especially if you, you know, not into car notes like me. I hate car notes, so I try to keep the cars I got running. Thanks a lot for the question, man. Comment, subscribe below. Any more questions, ask below. I'm going to answer it in the form of a video. If it's a real simple question, I'm just going to type it in myself. But I think everybody needs to know the answer because I'm sure everybody have the same question that you're asking. We'll do it that way. All right, people. Everybody out there in the PT Cruiser world, let's keep that car running, baby. I'm going to discuss that timing belt, man. Don't go by, I think the owner's manual, service manual tell you should replace the timing belt at 120, depending on if it's a turbo or not. I got some information on that I'm going to share with you on another video. Stay tuned. Comment, subscribe below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks a lot for the question, baby.